Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel.
Havana, ooh, nah, nah. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh.
I decided to do this video for numerous reasons. One, because I've watched like 1,000 of these videos, and when I mean that, I really mean that. I watched a lot. I watched them before I had Ari, my daughter, and after. And I am now almost 9 months postpartum, so I think I'm kind of like out of the woods when it comes to postpartum stuff. Like, I'm sure I'm gonna have to deal with a little bit more. Always, I think mommies always have to deal. Mommies, look at me, I'm such a mom. Mothers always have to deal with postpartum stuff, but you know, it gets less and less, and I think right now I'm like definitely over the initial postpartum stuff. So anyways, let's just get into this video. I have some things written down. So the main reason I wanted to make this video is because, like I've said, I've watched a ton, but also everyone I watch is so, like, I don't want to say negative, but they scare the living freaking daylights out of you. Like, they're being honest about their experience, but I have yet to come across one that's like, it wasn't too bad. It's all like, okay, listen here, person about to give birth, like, your life's gonna change and it's gonna be hell the first 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months after you give birth. I'm here to say I'm one of the few that didn't have a totally horrid experience. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a baby, and with labor comes recovery, but it was nothing like anything I have seen online or on YouTube. And I think some of the reason is because if you have a good experience, why are you gonna waste your time making a video about good things that happened? No one really cares to talk about the good, they only like to talk about the bad. I'm just gonna give you a person's experience that wasn't totally horrible, but was also the truth, and I think for the most part kind of normal. Just not everyone speaks on it. Things that did not happen to me that you hear all of the time on YouTube, that you research online, people talk about, but they just didn't happen to me. So the first one was laughing hurt, and I did not have this experience. I did have a tear. I'm pretty sure it was a 1st-degree tear. I had to get 2 or 3 stitches, so yeah, I did tear. But so my bottom was sore. It was sore, but it did not hurt to laugh. So that one just didn't happen. So don't expect that that's going to happen to you. Number 2, which is like a really, really big one, and one I hear all the time, is hemorrhoids. Like, oh, I got hemorrhoids. No, like, I was so scared. I wasn't even scared about giving birth when I first started watching these YouTube videos. I was more scared and more terrified of hemorrhoids. Like, it's gonna hurt to poop. Oh, by the way, I should probably put a TMI warning in here. I know most people do, and it's like, if you're gonna watch this video, you're gonna hear some TMI stuff, so yeah, just so you know. So I was scared of giving birth for the after fact of hemorrhoids. Like, I wasn't even scared of the labor part or my vagina ripping. I was scared of hemorrhoids because your girl's never had hemorrhoids before. So I was like, but I didn't. I did not get hemorrhoids at all. Like, I'm 100% positive, no hemorrhoids. The third thing that I did that did not happen to me was pain holding my pee in right after delivery, and peeing yourself. So I seen this in like a few different videos as well, and not everyone mentions this, but a lot of people do, and they're like, oh, once you have birth, you can't hold your pee in, and you're gonna pee yourself. It's just gonna happen. No, there's a chance it could, but for my experience, it did not happen. I actually held my pee in for a while after birth, and then I remember my first time peeing postpartum. I think I was so, it was my first baby, so I was so consumed with my daughter that I wasn't worrying about my pee, and I've always been a person that holds in my pee. So actually when the nurse came in to help me walk to the bathroom, because I was still kind of getting off my epidural, she's like, did you pee yet? And I'm like, no. I was like, I held it in. I really have to pee though. And she's like, you really have to pee? Okay, like she was making it seem like it wasn't normal that I really had to pee and I didn't pee. So maybe it's not normal, but at the same time that experience could happen to you. I literally was like, I have to pee really bad. And then I peed a lot because it was like all of a sudden I didn't have this human in my body, so I peed a lot. But then after that I still could hold my pee. Like I have not once peed on myself since giving birth. Not right after, not in the hospital, like it just hasn't happened. And I didn't even do like, I maybe did Kegels like a total of 10 minutes throughout my whole pregnancy. Like a couple minutes every once in a while. But they were really hard to do. Like Kegels are hard. Okay, anyways. Thick pads for bleeding. Now, I still have a lot of my postpartum stuff. 1, because I'm lazy. 2, because I'm a hoarder. And 3, to make this video. No, I'm just kidding. The 3rd one's kind of a lie. But I wanted to just show you, I still have all the I only bought 1 package of each, and I still have all of them. So obviously when I first gave birth, I was bleeding a lot. And I was using the hospital pads. The ones in my hospital weren't the huge ones that I've seen people show on YouTube. They were a little bit bigger than the ones I have, so this is one of my thicker ones that I used. Like this is a thick pad. So these are the thickest pads I used. They are nighttime and they are super duper long. So I bought a package of these. I'm gonna throw these out anyways after this, so. And this was the only bag I bought. It was Always Maxi 10-hour protection pads. This is extra heavy overnight because my mom was like, you need big pads, which I knew I did, but I bought 1 size smaller, which you'll see later in a sec. But anyways, there was only 20 in here, and there's still at least 10 or 15, and then the few I brought out, I think there's 1 or 2 I didn't use out of the ones that I did grab out of here, because if I were to like, yeah, maybe I did use all of them. Let's say I did use all of them just for argument's sake. So this was my heaviest pad I used from the hospital. So as soon as I got out of the hospital, I used these for maybe a day. Like, I'm not even kidding. So I was in the hospital for 2 nights. Like 1 night I was laboring and the next night was with Ari. So only 1 night postpartum. And then the 2nd day I used these. And that's it. Like by that day I was like, by the 2nd day at my own apartment, at my own house, sorry, not apartment, at my own house, I was like, hey, I don't need these anymore because first of all, they're huge and uncomfortable and I'm just not bleeding that much. So yeah, this is the only bag I got of pads, of maxi big pads, and I only used maybe 5 of these. Then I switched over to this. These are the Always Maxi, but they are long. They're super long, but they're only like, they show 1 out of 5 and they're only 2. You can see here are 5. So that's a drastic dip, and these are a lot thinner, and I'll show you one. So like that, and then when I get my period back, I won't be using pads, so these will go in the trash. Unfortunately, I wasted my money, but I was expecting to bleed a lot, guys. So yeah, that's these ones. They're a lot smaller, so I used these. Now, I used these for a lot longer. I want to say a week or 2, and then I went down to these ultra thin ones for a few days after, just to soak up like the regular period blood. So I bought 3 packs, 3 different sizes, and used, most ones I used were my thin ones. So like, I didn't bleed as much as I thought I was gonna bleed, which is not, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, like, everyone says you're gonna bleed like you're dying, and yeah, the first couple days, yes, but after that, it wasn't bad. Even my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I don't need, and I didn't. Last but not least is contractions after birth / breastfeeding pain. And yes, when you first give birth in the hospital, I did have a little bit of contractions. I'm not gonna lie. I got them more because every like couple hours a nurse comes to push on your stomach. I think it's like to get all the extra fluids and to get all the extra fluids and stuff out. So that was the only thing I had, and that hurt when it felt like a contraction. But other than that, I didn't have any contractions after giving labor, and that's one thing that I hear all the time. And then makes me mad because if you don't know, if you're not familiar with my channel, I breastfeed, and I'm very pro breastfeeding. I'm a breastfeeding advocate. That's what your boobies were made to do. They were made to feed your child. Like, that's just the truth. So when I see people say,
I had so much pain during breastfeeding, blah, 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 like, it hurt so bad.
no, okay, I'm not gonna lie, your nipples freaking hurt, and I even had a nipple shield, and my nipples still were killing me. That pain is intense while your nipples adjust to the sucking, but I did not get contractions while my daughter breastfed. I just didn't. So no, not everyone does get that. Don't be scared about that. If it does happen to you, then deal with it when it comes, but don't write off breastfeeding because you think it'll be painful contraction wise, because it will, I shouldn't say it will not be, but there's a chance that it won't be. So at least give breastfeeding a try, please. Those are things that did not happen to me during postpartum. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I haven't really seen a video like this before. I'm sure there is one because YouTube is a gigantic place and I have not seen everything on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any other questions or suggestions for me to do, I would love to hear them. I would love for you to leave them down below. I will also put a card right here for my breastfeeding journey. I also want to do an updated breastfeeding journey because that one was when I was about 4 or 5 months postpartum. I am now 9 months. Maybe I'll do one at a year. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to follow me and my beautiful family on our journey, and share and tell your friends and turn on your post notifications and all that other YouTuber jazz. I know you guys, if you're YouTubers or if you watch a lot of YouTube, you already know the drill. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. About you. Well, it's about what you did to me. What you did to Mama. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't bad. Tell the people. Tell all the future mommies it wasn't bad. Hi. Whoop, 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 whoop. Just kidding. Got boxers on. And put your extensions in just to wear boxers.
He took me